All right, some of you have sent in a CTC. Let's see here, Lost Horizons um, cracking the code return, where you only stated what income you had that was effectively connected with the United States, and they sent you back a frivolous return penalty. And what I learned from reading the Internal Revenue Manual today and putting these Freedom of Information Act requests together was that before they could send you a frivolous return penalty, they have to get permission from their superior in writing. And so what this request right here does is it'll break down whether they followed their procedures with respect to this penalty. Now, once again, if they haven't followed their procedures, you get some kind of administrative hearing on that. And the reason I say administrative is because, why would you want to go to court? That's cost you $350 for the filing fee. And some of us don't have, the skill to go to court. So at any rate, if you get an administrative hearing and you've done your Freedom of Information Act request and found out that they failed to get permission from their superior in writing, then you'll have something to talk about, and you could get that penalty abated. Okay, let's go down to internal lien review. There's supposed to be a process that goes on inside the IRS where the agent that's chasing you, he goes to the lien people and he says, hey, here's why I think there should be a lien on this person, and so here's a Freedom of Information Act request to find out if that was ever done. And I think also it would be really fun to see what they wrote about you. And maybe if you find out there's something that's not true, then you could certainly set out to set the record straight. All right, now in order for them to access the automated lien service, they have to get permissions. In other words, I'm Joe Agent. I go, hey, I want to be able to put stuff in the automated lien deal, and you have to get permission. Well, suppose somebody did a lien, but they didn't have permission. So you send in this Freedom of Information Act request and look for these permissions. And then here is another good one: the personal information on the levying agent. This is based on that U.S. Supreme Court decision that said if you have any dealings with the government, that it's up to you to make sure that they stay within the bounds of their authority. And this thing will kick their butts. I mean, they're not going to want to talk about this because so much of the time what they do without authority. So, and they're probably going to not want to answer this one. And then this one here, request for a Form 9984. For those of you who have some type of a audit situation going on, it's what do they call those guys? It's a revenue agent that does audits. He's a reviewer or something. At any rate, what he's supposed to do is he's supposed to keep a written record of all the things that he's done on the case. And so send in, if you got some kind of an audit going on, it'd be fun to send this form in and see what that guy's putting down for you. And then the last one is, I was reading the Internal Revenue Manual, and it says in there that that there was such a thing as an invalid 6020B return. A 6020B return is the one where they do a substitute return for people who aren't filing. And it says for it to be a valid 6020B, then it has to have the following forms attached. And it lists off, these three forms. And this right here is a request for the 6020Bs that apply to you for whatever years, they may be after you for. And then it requests that you be supplied with the three forms that are supposed to be attached to the 6020Bs. So what I've got going here, oh, look up here. Here are the IRM sections, the Internal Revenue Manual sections that deal with each of these. So you could sit and study this, and so you can tell why you're sending these in. Here's your FOIA appeal guide. If they give you the shaft, this tells you how to appeal. And right here in this folder are disclosure office addresses. So you can look on there and see which one applies to you, and you can get these forms filled out correctly.